Feels like it's been forever. I think I invited everybody up. I'm hoping there are some questions and things that could fill up some some time since it's been so long. If not, I've got some stuff to talk about also. But
Good morning, Derek.
morning, Gina, Marta, Lisa, Myra, Sandra, Maria, Isella, everybody else down below, equally as important, but encouraged to come up also. It'll be like romper room. I won't call out names unless you're up here. Deborah, Janet. I see Deborah. I see Janet. I bet if I pulled
Oh,
that show up, it would look really, really dated. Go
I
ahead.
bet it would. Good morning, Derek.
Morning.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year.
Good morning, everybody. Happy New Year. How cold is it there, Derek?
20-ish, plus or minus. Yeah, pretty cold. I don't, it's not, I mean, obviously, I don't, it's not pleasurable if to get cold, but as long as you dress, like my wardrobe just changes for the winter, and I pretty much wear long johns or a variation sweatpants, something underneath every pair of pants in the winter. I wear extra layers. My coat, like I wear basically a ski coat around. So as long as you wear the same stuff or stuff that keeps you warm, I don't like I walk outside and I'm impervious to the cold almost. It like don't even feel it if you don't want to. So I don't enjoy it like obviously I can't do the ice baths like that everything in me. I can't even do the last 5 seconds of my shower cold. I can't deal with that, so I don't like cold, but as long as you prepare, I guess it's all right. Who else is in cold? I'm looking, a bunch of people in here are in cold.
I should not complain.
Yes.
I'm Florida that we have 44-degree today, only for today.
42 in Texas. Well, Corpus Christi, actually.
It's 29 degrees in North Mississippi, and they're calling for like 4 to 8 inches of snow Friday. So I swear, I promise, my this town is already like everything every meme you've ever seen. Like bread's gone, milk's gone. It's the funniest thing, but
I
I don't
still
know if
haven't
it'll
figured
happen.
out.
But they're calling for it. So.
Same here in Georgia. It's 28 right now, and I still haven't figured out why people do that because it doesn't last.
I know, that's what, and I get it. I mean, like, we're not used to driving on it, so let's stay home if you can. But what are you going to do with that milk and bread? I
Exactly.
mean, it's because the snow's going to melt before you can eat or drink it, and so it's crazy.
21 degrees here in Boston.
Well, it's 47 here in Vegas, and it's cold for to me. But I feel for you guys.
25 in Raleigh, North Carolina.
21 in the Lehigh Valley, but it feels like 8.
We're very close, me and you. Um, yeah, 21 in Boston sounds not that bad, actually. Isn't it supposed to be like way colder up there than
Well,
here?
I haven't been outside yet today. It probably feels colder than that, but uh, what is it there?
It's 20-ish, give or take, depending on where you are or whatever. Yeah. The wind has a lot to do with
Oh,
it. That
yes,
the wind
exactly. Yeah, the
is,
wind is what
yeah.
kills.
Especially if you don't have a wind breaking clothing on or like that's when it's gonna rush right through it. I had a fire training last night, firefighter training. There's a Army War College in my town, and they are knocking down office building to put up another office building. So they're letting their own fire crew and the surrounding our companies come in and bust the place up. So last night we were and train there. So last night we were doing forcible entry, like how to break open locked doors and stuff. Um, and heat was off, and we were outside talking and yapping for a long time. But you never have to worry. That's one good thing about firefighting. You never have to worry. Well, in the summer it's gonna suck, but in the winter, with all the gear on, you're sweating your butt off. So that was the one good thing. Don't have to worry about that. But in the summer, I haven't done it in the summer really yet, so that's probably gonna suck. Especially if there was an actual fire in the summer. Yeah, you're gonna be. I don't know if you can wash those things. I think you have to wash. the gear in some, like you can't wash it like a regular thing. Anywho, all right. So we had a nice round off of temperatures around the mostly east to set. Well, a couple people out west, Deborah in Vegas, um, but that was fun. So I'll get it started here. Welcome to Google for Real Estate. Happy 2025, everybody. First episode of the year. Feels like it's been a little while. It has been good 2 or 3 weeks, I suppose. So good to be back at it. We're here live on Clubhouse every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to interact or talk like you hear the other people talking, you can meet us here. The link is in the description or the caption or whatever if you're listening in podcast form. I'm Derek Bixler, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, commercial and residential real estate agent since 2006, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about how to dominate Google local search and get business from our Google business profiles, as well as talk about other Google tools and marketing stuff. Replays are available on in the recordings on Clubhouse for 7 days. So this will be here till next week. And well, the last one's been there for a month or so now, but typically available on Clubhouse for 7 days. And then you can get the rest of them and any supplemental screen shares or templates or any attachments or anything that I reference in any of the episodes. You can get those on my website. Link is in the chat here on Clubhouse, or you can just go to my website and click on Clubhouse replays. Spotify links, Apple Podcast links, all that crud is in the in the chat. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, feel free to do that. You could also listen to these via YouTube or as a podcast there. And now we'll get into it. I don't really have any news per se. I mean, there are things happening, but I didn't write any down to share with you. And a lot of the news lately is more like Google Ads or more heady SEO stuff that would kind of be Chinese to all of you, possibly. So, not no really news per se. A couple of my topics or things to talk about is kind of news, but we'll do some Ask Me Anything, and if that fills up the whole entire next 45 minutes or so, that would be great. But I have stuff to talk about, like I said. Um, with our links in the chat, we used to put our review request link in the chat, and that's fine if you want to do that and get reviews, give reviews, that's fine. A reminder to reply to every review. 75% of reviews that were removed in a recent study did not have replies to them. So reply to every review, but feel free to put your review link in there. But the link that I put in there, if you look in the chat, mine says my GBP, my Google Business Profile. That link is just to my Google Business Profile, period. It's not to give a review, it's just to my Google Business Profile, period. So what I was thinking is we do the reviews, and that's good, and you can still keep doing that if you want. But another thing that we can do for each other or for other businesses or get consumers or customers to do for us on our Google Business Profile, and I've talked about this before, but get them to go to your Google Business Profile and then interact with it a bunch. Go to your photos and heart a couple photos. If you want to be really strategic about it, get them to heart the photos that you want Google to show first and showcase first. 3 or more is the number that people throw around. If you get 3 or more people to like a photo or heart a review, or I guess those are the only things you can like. Yeah, photos and reviews. Then 3 or more will get Google to showcase those. So get people to go, and you don't have to have the goal of getting ones to showcase, but generally get people to go there, and we could do this for each other. That's why I said you could put your link in the chat if you want, and just go and click on a couple photos, heart a couple photos, click on a couple reviews. Sometimes on mobile, you can do like a fire emoji or a heart, or they give you a few different reactions to reviews. Sometimes it just says helpful or a little like thumbs up like button, but whatever it is, or a heart. Heart a couple reviews, heart a couple photos, go to the product section, click on a couple products, maybe click on the link and go to the website that's linked or whatever. Go back and just generally interact and heart and like and do things on the profile, because those signals, along with reviews, also can help ranking. And it seems like people are talking about that more and more, and we already know that Google definitely tracks that stuff. And it would make sense that if people are interacting and like your profile, then Google would want to show the profile that people like to interact with to more people. And Google definitely tracks website stuff, like all the Chrome browser. That's why they might have to divest or sell Chrome because of this recent monopoly stuff. But they base rankings, website rankings specifically, on Google watching Chrome habits. They watch everything that people do on Chrome, what they click on, how they scroll, what websites they're on, how much they interact with it, all that stuff. And they're watching all those signals. And the same is true for the Google Business Profile. Maybe not as strongly as website stuff, but definitely for sure, the three hearts get something showcased. And there could be glitches. Maybe it doesn't work, but that's the number of people throw out there. Three hearts on something gets it showcased, and just general interaction on profiles is a good signal to Google that people like your profile. So, a long rant on put your either your review link if you want to put your review link in there like we've done in the past, or just put your general Google Business Profile link in the chat, and people can click on it and help each other out. And I'll probably do that for a few people. I always, every time I go to somebody's Google Business Profile, even if I went there to give a review, I typically am liking some photos and clicking around and doing all that stuff before I give the review anyway, because I want those signals to Google that I've been to this profile, I like this profile, I've interacted with this business, and this review should show up because you have tracked history of me interacting with this business. So put your link in the chat if you want to, if you are here live, or show up next time live so you can do it then. And then I've got a few random things to talk about. And then next week, not sure what I'm going to do. So before I get into the topics and things that I have that I can discuss, do we have any questions, issues, pain points, wins, anything with Google Business Profile? And I should stress more probably that I like the wins. If you get something from Google, even a nice little sound bite of a 10 seconds, hey, I got a call from Google, thanks, Derek. I'm going to chop the crap out of that out of the episode and make a nice little testimonial out of it. So if you have wins, and it also encourages others and shows that it actually works and we're not all doing this for nothing. Um, but wins are encouraged, but issues and anything else you want to do. So, what's up? I will open the floor and shut my yapper. Nobody, nothing? All right. No issues. I know there are issues because people text me things almost every day. And one of the things I have to talk about is a question I got
Hey,
yesterday.
Derek.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it's Gina. I didn't tell you it is 33 degrees here in the Florida Panhandle. That's unheard of. But I found it interesting. I did not know this, that you're saying the reason why some of the reviews were taken down is because we did not give a response. I'm really glad you said that. I didn't know it. Are you encouraging us to go respond to all our reviews right now? Do it intermittently, maybe? What is your recommendation?
For sure reply to them. And even before this recent study, and this isn't Google saying it, this was a study that people, but a lot, I mean, it's thousands of profiles and over like a year. It's a pretty good study by the people that do all the studies. So in the study, one of the data points was that 75% of the ones that they saw removed by Google didn't have replies. So that's a big enough number for us to care about it
Mm.
for sure. And even before that came out, replies are always good. Shows the business is replying, both to Google, that's every time you're in your profile and doing things, and every little action gets you a tiny little brownie point with Google for being in your profile consistently.
And does
And
that reply that you make maybe to a review that was several years ago alert them to their email? I guess that'd be a good thing is to follow up with a phone call is, yeah, I was just looking through my reviews. Thank you so much. And just I wanted to say hi and see how things are going with you all and your, your home. that's a good follow-up because doesn't it alert them when you reply in an email?
It does, and that's a fantastic idea. To take it even a step further, if you're going to go back through all your reviews, yeah, when you reply, typically the person, and they'll probably not see it or ignore it or whatever, but yes, they should get a email from Google that says this business has responded to your review. Um, so they may or may not see it, but yeah, I love that idea too of following up and say, hey, I'm just going through my reviews. I realize I never responded or whatever you want to say. And then they'd get that email and then you calling also and gives you a reason to follow up. Oh my God, I didn't thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I love that idea. But definitely reply. It doesn't mean you need to go reply to like all of them today. Especially if you only have 20, maybe you do. But if it's 50 or even 30 or 40, you probably space it out over time, which is probably a good thing anyway, because you want to interact with your dashboard on a consistent basis, like I said. So if you went in today, banged them all out, and then never go back to your dashboard for another 3 months, then that doesn't really help you out with those little brownie points that you get for just being in your dashboard and Google knowing that all this information is correct and yada yada. So maybe you space them out. Maybe you do one a day or a few a week or however you want to space it out over like a couple months, maybe depending on if you got 7 reviews, then just go bang it out and be done with it. You should be doing other ongoing best practices in there anyway, but yeah. Do you know how many reviews you have? I can look you up.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think I have now. I just got a recent really good one, and I did thank him personally, but I didn't reply on Google. So I need to do that. I think I have 10. They did take two down. It was one of our agents on Clubhouse, and we're like, what happened? Took down Donna's and maybe Michelle's. So that was kind of bizarre. I didn't know why. They just,
Is it named your name?
yeah.
Huh.
Gina, well, no. And see, this is a whole nother hiccup I need to talk to you about. It's Gina Sells Texas. I don't know how to change it all. I've been trying to figure it out. I'm in Florida, but the recent review was Texas because I just closed on a home in Texas. It's very confusing for me on what to do because I am a dual state. I sell in Texas actively and here in the Florida Panhandle. Now I've changed my Instagram and everything, TikTok, everything is Gina Roberson. But I'm scared to mess with Google. I don't know what to do, how to just make it Gina Roberson. And if so, do I do it for Florida, for Texas? Because, I do both states. It's a kind of been a big hiccup for me. I'm not letting it hold me back, but I just can't move forward with Google not knowing which way to go.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm glad you spoke up because this is a great case study and definitely I have a lot to say because I just pulled it up. So, okay, so it's fairly straightforward. You need 2 Google business profiles. The rest of it, possibly you could, I mean, if you were super anal, you'd have 2 of everything, but it's real world and we have to be able to manage all this stuff. So Facebook, all the socials, maybe you can get away with just 1, but Google business profile for sure, that's all based on proximity and location and as far as Google's concerned, licenses too. So those are 2 different licenses. So it's fairly straightforward. You need 2 Google business
How
profiles.
do I do
How?
that? I guess I can talk to you. I've not seen the option to do that with my name.
Yeah, it would be tricky. I'd have to think about it a little bit, because you're not supposed to have duplicate profiles. However, the location would be different. We could possibly
Different
make the
phone number,
phone
maybe,
phone number, and obviously Google understand. Like sometimes it wouldn't get through, and then when you push and get them to understand that like this or two, that it's supposed, it's like a multi-location gas station, or it's kind of the same thing. It's two locations for the same business. So you'd probably be able to get it through. If you wanted to change the name, like one of them could be named Gina Roberson, comma realtor, and then the other one could be named Gina Sells Texas. Whatever you name it, it has to be provable for sure. So, like if Gina Sells Texas, and right now your Google business profile says Gina Roberson dash Gina Sells Real Estate. So that, yeah, well, you already know that the name needs updated in a couple different ways, but um, so you can name one the business, one yourself. You could probably get away with naming them both yourself. Um, they're going to want to see proof, the license, utility bill, all that kind of stuff. If you called it Gina Sells Texas, that would have to be an actual like LLC or Inc. or something that you have proof that you can show Google for. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to name it that. And frankly, I wouldn't name it that either, because everybody's gonna, when people are vetting you, they're gonna type in your name, not some brand that we all
Yeah.
came up with. So, I mean, yeah, it could possibly be the way you have it, Gina Roberson, and then Gina Sells Texas, or Gina Sells Real Estate, or whatever it ends up being. Um,
You
but then
said you
you
couldn't
also,
find it
go
by
ahead.
my name earlier, though. Was it because you misspelled my name or?
No, just because, well, I started with Gina Roberson. And I think I put realtor on there from the get go just because I didn't want to do it twice in case that didn't work. And that just brings up not a Google business profile, just web results. And this is on desktop,
Exactly.
so
And that's
mobile
a
could be a little
problem.
different.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
how do you find my Google? Yeah.
So when I got to it by once I added Florida, I think is when I got to it. No, that still
Hmm.
didn't get me there.
Yeah, like it does not populate a Google page. The Google page is there, but
Yeah,
it
you're also
just
at
brings,
9 reviews.
uh-huh.
If I could get back to your, now I can't even get back to your profile and find it. You're at 9 reviews, so 10 is kind of the mark I usually use. Sometimes you'll see it published 5, or some people will say 10 or whatever. I think Google says 5 in a couple places, but 10 is the number
Well,
I
they
usually
took
put out
some
there.
away. So I used to have more. So I better try to get another one, I guess.
Yeah, I would reply if you only have 9. I would just reply to all, or reply to half of them today, and then next week reply to the other half of them. So
Okay.
reply to it, bang it out. It's possible to have things removed also if you're not in your profile doing things. And I can tell if I
Yeah.
could get back to the freaking thing, um, yours could use everything done to it. So,
Yeah.
to put it short, so that could be part of it too. If a profile goes stagnant, that can also have an effect on reviews, or your for sure ranking and that kind of thing. Um,
Okay.
yeah, usually not a good sign if I type in, is that the Texas profile or the Florida profile?
It started in Texas and I changed it from Gina Sales Texas to Gina Roberson Realtor, I think.
Oh, that's how I got to it. I put Gina Sells Texas into Google, and that got me to your Google business profile and got your website as the first result.
So it must still be named that somewhere, even though it's titled my name.
I think it's more the Gina Sells part, and this profile, if it's located, I'll tell you in a second. That is Texas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that would make sense that it would
That's
put
where the
that together.
location is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would leave that profile be the Texas profile, and there's a bunch of things to talk about as far as optimizations and things to do, but that would be the Texas profile, and then you'd need a new one, either located at the broker's office or a residence, your house or whatever you got down there,
Okay.
um, for the other profile. Pretty straightforward. I mean, doesn't mean it's not work, but fairly straightforward. And then any reviews from Florida stuff would go on the Florida one, and any reviews from the Texas one would go on the Texas one.
If they found, though, my Texas one and put a review and it's for Florida, see, that's the thing. How are they going to know the difference? How's my Florida people, if it says Gina Roberson Realtor, how are they going to know? Oh, that's her Texas one. We need to do it at this one. Like it could get mixed in, which is fine with me. A review is a review.
Shouldn't. Well, if
Okay.
you're sending your link, it's going to take them directly to
Oh,
whichever
sending
profile
the
you're
link.
sending them to.
See, this guy just did a review on his own. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. I
Yeah,
didn't
and
even
if
ask
if
for it.
a mistake review gets put on the wrong profile, it's still a review, so I wouldn't get too just kind of is what it is if you're it's kind of something you just have to deal with the situation
Yeah.
you're in. But yeah, if you're mostly sending the link to people to get the reviews, they're going to go straight to the one you send them to. Also proximity, like I said. So if somebody is in
Yeah.
Florida and they type in your name and all your stuff is optimized and you're showing up, that Florida one is going to pop up before the Texas one. Or if somebody's in Texas and types in your name, it's more likely that the Texas one that's close to them would pop up
Okay.
rather than the
That makes
Florida one.
sense.
Yep.
So it sounds like I need to work on getting a second Google page for my second business here in Florida.
Correct. That's the short of it. I would probably get this profile more vetted before I would do that, maybe. We would have to talk
Okay.
about it, have to think about it a little bit more because you don't because it may possibly get flagged as a duplicate profile when you create it. And with the initial profile not being super vetted with Google, like my profile is, I manage tons of profiles that are in good standing. I'm in the dashboards all the time. I reply, I do all the things. So I kind of have, there is like a back end brownie points with Google, and you can get shadow banned on reviews and things. Um, and your email address can get messed up. So you want that initial Google Business profile to be a little bit more farther down the road of being in good standing with Google and
Okay.
consumers and everybody before you possibly cause some issue with duplication. Because if a duplication issue does happen, it would probably make them both unverified, possibly suspended,
Well,
but
it
probably
did
just
happen
unverified.
briefly. I tried changing my address and they put my account on pause and I did talk to somebody, believe it or not, but it fixed within I think 30 days. So that's why I've been scared to touch it because I tried changing the location and they just it totally paused the account. So,
Yeah, and you don't want to change it anyway. You
yeah.
just want a new one. But yeah,
Yeah.
if you need help, you know where to find
Okay.
me.
Yeah,
But
I will reach out. Thanks.
it's the hard answer. You got to do another one. Doesn't mean you have to concentrate on
I
both
don't
or
mind that.
whatever, but
Yeah.
Hey Gina, this is Linda in Cypress, Texas, and I've just tried to come up with your Google profile probably 6 ways to Sunday, and it does not come up no matter what changes I am making to the search. I get your
Wow.
website, and the Cells Texas gets to your website. Just wanted you to know from another perspective of what was happening.
Yeah, so you're saying Google's not even showing up.
Not at all.
Now the recent review, that guy didn't seem to have a problem. I did not send him the link. So that's interesting. Are you spelling Gina with an E,
Yes,
Gena,
I
and
am.
sells is SELLS, like I sell real
Mm-hmm.
estate, and
Yeah,
then
I didn't.
Roberson, no T,
Yep, I've got
ROB.
rope. Yes,
Okay,
I do. I do.
interesting.
I check through that, and I'm getting you in all the various other things, your LinkedIn, your Instagram, etc.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get with Derek and figure out what's going on. I should be popping up Google
Yeah,
somewhere,
yeah,
especially since
Gina.
I just got a review. Hey, Deborah.
Hey,
But the
so
review is on
you
your
know what?
map, and so I might look at your map of your address of what you have tied to it, because that's where the review actually ends up, is it not, Derek?
So if you click on her, do you see that little Gina next to all that stuff? You click on that, and that'll take you to her Google page. And I'm leaving her a review right now.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
yeah, so
Um,
you'll see everything on the left, her LinkedIn and all that. And then up at the top right, you'll see just her name. But you can click on that, and that'll take you to her Google My Business.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Possibly. Like I didn't, that didn't come up. That should come up right away. I had to go to Gina Sells Texas to get it to associate any Google business profile with what I was typing in
I wonder if it has the way
Google.
people have their computer settings. It sounds like it's coming up different for different people.
Yeah, and like I said, proximity. So I don't know if Deborah
She's
equidistant
in
from
Vegas, and
Texas. Yeah, how far is that? I don't know. Proximity could have something to do with it. Also, device, mobile versus desktop, Apple versus whatever. Some people have like a tablet slash computer. Those showed things different from tablets or desktops. Some like combination of the two. So it can vary. Yeah, for sure.
interesting. Well, I'm excited about just getting my Google better this year. You get so wrapped up in so many other things. And after this recent review, that they just went on their own and were just so happy with the process, did it on their own. I thought, gosh, that's going to be great. But now I'm finding out nobody will see it if they can't find it. So I really need to get this going. So thank goodness Derek's here to help us all with that.
Well, you know that guy definitely did you a solid then. Was he Texas or Florida?
He was my most recent closing in Texas.
In Texas. So he's very close in proximity. So it would make sense that he would more easily
Yeah,
find you possibly if he typed your
I
name in.
see. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was right down the road, maybe 10 minutes.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Or he just really wanted to give you a review. Sometimes
And
that's the
he
case
found
too.
me. He's younger, so he probably is very tech savvy, knew how to find me somehow. But I don't want it to be hard for people to find me. I'm glad Deborah eventually found me. Linda couldn't find me at all. Hopefully, she can find me somewhere.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because one of my notes was what was it? I think my last episode that we did was about auditing our branded search online and making sure all our Google business profile, but everything else that comes up and everything that we want to come up does come up. Everything looks awesome and is all ready for 2025. And I was going to remind everybody, so that's a good reminder for everybody to do that if you haven't done it already, like we talked about. If you need to, obviously you can listen to that replay if you want to, but just Google yourself like we're doing for Gina right
Yeah,
now and see what comes up, and then make sure all those things that show up look like the bomb. And then if there are things that aren't showing up, and it could be your Google business profile, could be your Zillow, could be Facebook business page, could be whatever. If it doesn't show up, then maybe if you want it to show up, figure out why or make your things more consistent. A lot of times naming, like when you're doing the branding thing and naming, that convolutes everything. That's why I'm the opposite of what most people want to do probably. I'm against branding unless you are really a team, and I don't mean like you and an assistant, and I'm not saying downing that or anything, but unless it's like actually like kind of a big team or it's an actual brokerage, like all the logos and the branding and all that stuff, in my opinion, is somewhat wasted effort because and confusing when people try to vet you, and really it's just you. It's fun to make logos and it's fun, and that's all. I love doing all that stuff. I love creating a business and doing all those things. That's why I think a lot of people do it, but then it's kind of just confuses people. And when people go to Google, they type your name in. And then this morning when people were talking about that, I was thinking about my market and all the top agents, every single, I can't think of one that calls themselves something other than their name. Even the ones that are don't even do anything anymore and they have this huge giant team, they're still the Dave Hook team or the Jennifer Hollister team or just an agent. There's at my old brokerage, there's an agent, Garrett Rothman. He's always in the top 10, top 2, top 5. Like he sells a butt ton of real estate. and it's him and one other agent there and the support staff like the admin or whatever, but he doesn't even have his own like admin assistant. It's just the front desk and the brokerage people, and he sells more than everybody with him, and it's just him, and he does zero social media or branding or anything. So I think it's a lot of times, unless you're, even if you're going out of production, you are the brand. So I'm not, yeah, I will take the stand of being against it if you're a single
Yeah.
agent.
And that's why I took Gina Sells Texas off because I remember you telling us that. I remember Andy C was always saying, just market your name. Your name is who you are, and that's how people find you. So, this is an example just from my page. I mean, people aren't finding me. So you gotta push your name.
There you go. So let that be a message and cautionary tale for anybody else listening. Go do your branded search like we talked about, and then make sure all your stuff is on point. Anybody else have any questions, comments about that or anything else?
Someone mentioned that it showed up my review in maps. So are there two places for people to put reviews? Because in maps you can actually add the photo, correct?
There are, I guess the best way to explain it is there are multiple places to search for a business. So I was doing it on desktop. You could do it on mobile, just like in your browser, not on Google Maps. You could search for a business in actual, like on the Google Maps app. You could also go to actual Google Maps on desktop and search for somebody in Google Maps. That would get them closer to you because it's going to be picking only businesses, not web results. If you go to Google Maps and type something in, you're searching for only Google business profiles, only businesses. It's not going to give you website results or any other Zillow, any other results. So that is a more direct path to get to Google business profiles. So it would make sense that if you went to and all, I already have you saved, so it's going to know that, but I'm going to try to type you in Roberson Realtor. Yeah, and it already knows too much for me to be able to game it there. But it would make sense that taking a more direct path, because it's not looking at websites, it's not looking at anything but Google business profiles, and if someone types your name in there, it would come right up. So that savvy person might have just used the Google Maps app to search for you, and you popped right up, and you gave them a review, or he gave you a review. Um, Yes, that is a more direct path. I can also add to that at Google, technically, the reviews live in the Google Maps department, or how on their server. I don't know how it works technically, but it's part of the Google Maps department. And the Google business profiles are a completely separate department, and they connect together. So when you get suspended, for example, your reviews disconnect from your Google business profile. And then when you get back into service, they reconnect. That's why with Michelle recently, Michelle Meinhardt, and this was one of my items to talk about here, that I got two suspensions approved on Christmas Day. It must have been people in other countries, probably. But Christmas morning, there was one at like 6 a.m. So I woke up to a suspension approval for a client that I had done like a week earlier. And then Michelle Meinhardt's came later in the day that hers was approved. But when they first approved, there were no, I think my phone just rang. When they first approved Michelle's suspension appeal, there were no reviews. And obviously that's alarming, and it can happen. Like sometimes you do lose all of them, but usually they do connect. Hers did not connect, so it was alarming. And I obviously took the professional stance of don't be alarmed. Obviously, I'm still pooping my pants also. Like I don't want that to happen for my clients either. But I'm just relax. And thankfully, within about a week or so, the reviews did come back. I think we lost a few of them, but the bulk, I think it was 37 and 29, came back. So, uh, long way of saying your reviews live on Google Maps and your Google Business Profile lives somewhere else at Google. So it's easier to find Google Business Profiles on Google Maps, but also if people leave reviews via Google Maps, sometimes that can get the review to stick a little bit better. So instead of people leaving your review on desktop or in the browser on their mobile or whatever, if they use the actual Google Maps app to go to your Google business profile and leave a review that way, it's been speculated by myself and others that that helps for the review to show up and not get blocked by Google or whatever. Anybody else have any other input, questions, anything on any of that? Or otherwise, Eric, hand up. Sorry, I don't, once I get yapping, I don't watch very
Hey,
much, Eric.
thanks.
What's up?
No worries. Quick question. So I know a lot of review type sites, if somebody adds a review, everybody gets notified like, hey, guess what? Eric got another review today. Do you want to check it out? Does that happen with Google Business? And if I start replying to all of these reviews, is everybody going to get flooded in a day with, hey, guess what? He's updated the site or he's updated the review?
No, there's no way, even if you save, and I save businesses all the time on my in my Google Maps, even if you save a business, which is the closest thing to like following or friending a business on Google or whatever, it will not send you updates about that business. Like this business just moved locations. That would be a big one that would be obvious that they'd probably tell people about, but you will not get notifications like that. However, like we talked about, I don't know if you were in the room, if you respond to a review, that person will get a email saying that this business has responded to your review. But other than that, yeah, nobody would get would get any kind of correspondence. What platforms do that? Is that like a Zillow thing? Like if you've saved where does that happen? Enlighten
Well,
us.
I have a couple different I'm no longer selling real estate, but I do work with publishing, and we get that through like Amazon and through like a bunch of different sites. And I was like, oh my God, if we go in, so your knowledge is useful every business. If we go in and start responding to all these things, I don't want people to get like 10 updates. But if I go into Goodreads and I update a review or a comment, everybody gets notified that, hey, Eric's just updated the site or updated the follow, or you're following Eric and this is what he just did today on the thing that you're following. So I wanted to make sure that Google Maps and Google didn't do the same.
Gotcha. No, and that seems kind of, I mean, it's good for marketing, I guess. See, people could get annoyed, but I'm a marketer, so I would
It's great
err on
if
the
you,
side of more is better.
yeah, it's great if you drip it like you do update once a week or, stagger it out because then you're hitting their mailbox frequently, but you don't want to hit it like 5 times in the same day.
Agreed. Both for annoyance and just to spread out your marketing fodder. Why, if you got 50 reviews, why say, hey, we got 50 reviews? Why not? Yeah, over a week, it had more impact if it's every week. Hey, they got another review. Hey, they got another review. Hey, they got another review. You're like, holy cow, these people just crushing it.
What is your opinion on posting reviews on your social media? Like, hey, this is what my customer said about me today.
I think it's great. I do it for sure. I'm an SEO person though, and SEOs tend to just love reviews and testimonials both on websites and on Google, and reviews and testimonials is always in studies shown to be one of the top things that people makes people's decisions. On Google specifically, they just look at the numbers. They really don't read them. They're just 500 versus 100. I'm the 500 person, almost not every time, but tend to go that way. So I think it's great, and the more interactive it is, the better. You got your scale of how good it can be as far as content. It could be that meme, just an image, which is what I do on my Google business profile as updates. I just post review memes. On other social media, it probably needs to be a little bit more mo beta, like with Clubhouse snippets. I make it like an audio thing with kind of the audio as they talk moving. Video, I think, would be the best. Obviously, if you could get video testimonials, that would be even better and fantastic for ads or YouTube ads or something like that. So yeah, I reviews are always great. I do not like pet peeve and soapbox. I despise when people put the entire review in the image and too much. A lot of people over design images. Like if it's a house for sale, just put a picture of the house. Maybe it says for sale or something real small, but not like the package you get for your broker. Like here's your social media package for that new listing, and the photo's kind of small to the side. And there's all this branding and my picture and the logo and the phone number and the website and word 3 beds, 2 bed, all this gobbledygook on it. It doesn't. It's not pretty. It doesn't have the same impact. So the better things can be, the better, I think. Yeah, I don't like the full review in the image. Plus, with content, the first the first goal is to get them to stop scrolling to look at the image. Then the object is the image or the video or whatever gets them to read the caption. That's the next signal. Oh, they like the creative. Now they're reading the caption, and now the next signal would be the caption hopefully gets them to like or comment or call to action to call you or click on the website or whatever you want to happen. So when you put the entire review in the image, they can just read it right there and see. Plus, now you need to write a story below or write something different because you've already used the review text in the image. So now in the
Thank you!
caption, I got to
Exclamation
come up with
point.
some long, yeah, now you have to come up with some long story. And some people like writing those stories. I'm just not writing a story kind of person, but
Sherry,
um,
you have a hot mic.
Oh, thank you.
Sure. Hmm?
she was emphatic about something with her exclamation point. I thought she was talking to me. I thought she was she was like, yeah, preach. All right. Anybody else have any other questions or anything or follow-ups to any of that? I got a few more things to talk about.
Derek, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry, I know you said you have something else to talk about. Right quick. So on my location, right now I have and I think Cindy also had this issue, and it might have been, I think it was fixed. But my location has my office, but my brokerage is it's cloud based, and I don't think anybody even in the office. So should I put my? So I'm not really sure if I should. Is there a way you can hide it? Can I put my home address, I guess, and hide it, or I'm not sure how to handle that. How to do that, or how to, not sure which way how to handle the location because I don't even know if anybody goes to the office. And
Yeah, the short of it is wherever you want to rank is where you would put it. So if you would prefer to rank around the office location, then you would put it there. If you want to, I'm just pulling up our stuff because we've worked together and I'm sure we talked about it. I don't remember what we talked about. I'm just looking at your to-do list to see if there was a possibly change address. I don't
I'm not sure.
see
I
it
know
in
I think
there.
Cindy had the same issue I had, or I don't know if it was the same. I don't know if I've asked you this before.
But
It might.
if it's a cloud brokerage and you don't want to use the location
Yeah,
of
it's
that,
cloud.
wherever, like my cloud when I was with EXP, the office is 2 hours away in Philadelphia, and I don't want to use that obviously when proximity is a factor. So I just used my house, and then you hide the address. If you move it, you will have to re-verify for sure. So that might have been the conversation that we talked about was, well, I don't want to have to do that, so let's just leave it there. How far away is the which is the better ranking position, the office or your house?
Um, I probably my house. I mean, the office location isn't far. I mean, it's not close either, but it's not. It's like maybe 20. It's not far, but I don't think anybody's there. My house probably is a better ranking.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you'd probably change it to your house and then go with that.
Okay, and I have to. And how do I hide it? And then you said I would have to verify again, though, right?
Yeah, that's a whole episode on itself. But yeah, you'll have to do a video. You'll have to compile proof of everything. So the name, the phone number, and the address being the biggest three things that you need to prove with your real estate license, logging into proprietary software, a utility bill is a big one, all with matching all those things. And you want to make sure all your settings are correct before you do that also. So it's a little bit of a process. You can always reach out if you want some
Oh,
help.
oh, okay. What about the service? What about you just setting it up as a service based? I think I might have it that way anyway. Is that does that make sense? Or
Real estate, in essence, a real estate profile is a service
yeah,
area business either way, whether you
yeah.
show a location or not. However, quote unquote, yes, then you would be a solely service area business would be in my view, the correct way to phrase it.
Okay, thank you. I'll reach out if I. Thank you.
Yep. It is a little bit cumbersome to do the video, but not if you just do it right. Should be okay. Do it the right way. And if that's where you want to rank, then if it's a big like 2 hours away like me or really far away, I would if you want your neighbor to type realtor into Google and see you, I would move it to your house or people near you or whatever.
Okay,
Uh,
thanks.
yep. Oh, all right. So the next thing I have on here is your review goals for 2025. So that's more just a kind of a little reminder. Everybody's got their New Year's resolutions and doing goals and things, and I talked about this in previous episodes, but this is just another reminder to look at how many reviews you have and try to have some kind of goal for the year. I did not meet my last year's goal of 100. I'm at 91, I think. I would have been well of 100 if I didn't have some removed along the year here and there, like everybody else. Also happens to me. But my goal, I'm going to pretend I hit 100 and I'm going to add another 25. I think 25 a year. That's one every 2 weeks, especially when I'm not producing a ton. That's probably reasonable. So figure out whatever you want your own goal to get. If you're up where I am if you're in 50, 75, 100, 200, 3, anywhere above 50, really, your goals should be in 25 review increments, probably. If you're just starting out, your first goal is 10 reviews. After you get that first initial 10 reviews for Google just to trust you at all, then you want to get to 25 reviews, 25 reviews being the number that they quote unquote or studies say or whatever. 25-ish reviews is kind of the number where people will trust you also. They'll look at it and say that's enough of a consensus from other people that I can trust these people too. So 25 is usually the number that I use as the next goal. And then after 25, maybe to 40, but probably just now your goal is just to the 50 and then to 75 and 100. And then once you get into the triple digits, you're in the diamond group, you're in the 1%, you're doing better than almost everybody else. And it is hard to catch up because if you're only getting 25 a year, the other people doing the same thing you're doing, but you got a head start of a few years, it's very, very hard to catch up unless you really, really go after it or start producing a ton more and have a ton more people to ask. So reviews, even if you're like Gina and you have 9 right now, you could have 30 or 40, even 25 could be a goal for her for this year, just to get to that 25 this year. And then next year, all of a sudden, after a few years, she's got 50 reviews, and that's more than 70% of the other agents. And it's definitely enough for people to trust her when they branded search her, when they type her name in and she comes up correctly and she's got 47 reviews. Doesn't matter how many reviews the other people have, they're not even seeing those people. They're just seeing Gina and seeing how many reviews, and that's enough that I can trust her also. So
I
get
made
your
10 just now, thanks to Deborah. Thank you so much, Deborah. Just popped up that you gave me a review. So now I at least made that mark. Thank you.
You're welcome, Gina. I'm
awesome.
so glad you got it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that showed up right away. Deborah, you
It
must give a
did?
lot of reviews.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I mean,
did.
if
It
you got
showed
her
up in
of
I
a
my
gave about
email, but I don't
six.
know if it.
Go
What's
ahead,
that?
Gina. No, go ahead,
I
honey.
I don't know if it showed up on Google yet, Derek, because you said 9, but hopefully it's 10. And yeah, Deborah, I'll do the same for you. I appreciate it so
Oh
much.
yeah, no problem. I'm so glad you got it. And yeah, I just clicked on your name next to all that stuff. I'm wondering why nobody else sees that. Does anybody else see that on Gina's, when you click in her name, put in her name in Google? Does anybody else see her name on the side there, up on top? If
Yeah, the
somebody else can
standard
check.
on, you're talking about on a computer, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm on my
Yeah, like I
desktop.
said, if
Yeah.
it recognizes that what you are searching is related to a Google Business Profile, it'll show it on the right-hand side like you're describing. Um, and the reason you see it and I didn't see it, or others maybe didn't see it, is possibly because of location or proximity or whatever, or possibly browser. You've searched it before, or it could be a whole slew of different reasons. So yeah, that could appear to other people also possibly, but should appear more easily for everybody at some point. But yeah, I do see the 10 reviews too. Just refreshed and see it. So reply to that puppy immediately and then reply to the other ones kind of staggered, maybe one every 2 days or whatever you want to do. And then maybe do some other stuff on your profile. But yes, that is out of the ordinary for it to immediately. That's why I said Deborah must give a lot of reviews because, or Google trusts her for whatever reason, because usually, even if it does show up, a lot of times it'll kind of process for a little bit and then tell you you got a review. So that's awesome. Thank you, Deborah. Reviews goals 2025. We beat that to death. A reminder to put your, nah, we already talked about that. Branded search for 2025. We talked about that. Question that I had yesterday or last couple days was, do the new TPCA laws, the robocall laws taking effect, affect our local services ads leads? And I don't think it does at all, because local services ads or calls from Google are people, they have opted in. They called you. Now I'm allowed to call people that have called me directly, I've spoken to, and yada yada. So I don't think it matters as far as local services ads leads go at all, other than a lot of that legislation. And I'm not an expert, and I kind of just looked it up and read some stuff before this call. But the way I read is, it is more about robocalls and auto dialers and machines dialing, not one to one. So possibly if you took that local services ads lead, popped them in some robo dialing thing that you use to market with, and then marketed to them via that, they did not give specific consent to get that automated stuff from you. So in that sense, yes, your local services ads leads could be affected by this if you're doing that with the leads, but just in essence, like a person calling you as a lead, totally legal as far as I can tell. And even following up with them later, if it's one to one, it doesn't even apply as far as I understand it. And anybody can correct me and I'll educate myself more. But as far as I'm reading, it's about the machines doing things. And if you one to one are calling somebody, then it doesn't even apply. So I don't think that this new regulations or policies or whatever really affects local services ads or any calls that you get from Google at all. Again, with the caveat, unless you are dropping them in some robo system or whatever. Um, and there is a CRM. Her question was specifically around the CRM. I don't think her CRM does robodialing and calling and things like that. So I don't think it applies to her. She's just putting that person in her CRM. So they're in there so that she can send birthday cards and follow up with them in 2 weeks. And it can remind her to, text them or call them whenever or whatever. So I don't think it's an issue. Any input or contradictions or additives to that? And then the other, I talked about the Google suspensions that came in on Christmas Day. That was good. And I've had a couple others since then. So all is good there, and seem to have the new procedure that they have dialed in for the moment anyway. It changed The last few I did, including Michelle's and that other person's that were approved on Christmas Day, when I did those two, they had changed the procedure slightly. The procedure still is you get one appeal, and then after you appeal it, if you're denied, you can then request additional review of your appeal. And then if that's denied, you're kind of out of luck. There are kind of other measures you could take, maybe, but kind of just out of luck totally at that point. But procedure still is you get suspended, you get an email says you're suspended, click this button to appeal. You click that button to appeal, and once you start that appeal, and it tells you this very explicitly, once you start that appeal, you have 60 minutes to upload any proof or any to basically to complete the appeal and give any proof or documentation. So that's still true. You still have one appeal. It's still 60-minute time period. But once you get past the 60-minute time period, it now gives you a place to attach your proof that we always talk about, your utility bill, your DBA or LLC documents, your real estate license, pictures of this and that, yada, yada. It used to give you 3 attachment spots at 30 megabytes each, and it now gives only 2 attachment spots at 20 megabytes each. This is important because we got to upload proof. I'm uploading pictures and PDFs and all kinds of documents, and they all have megabytes related to them. So a big part of when I do suspension appeals is I need to talk to the client, have them compile all the things that I need, and we always overkill. I want more than we need so I can pick the best things to use, and just we want to be able to overkill with it. But then I have to pare that down via these parameters. I only have so many attachments I can add at so many megabytes. And the way you get over, so there's only 2 attachment spots, you can zip a file. So I have to figure out which ones, the best ones work that add up to 20 megabytes. And sometimes I have to shrink a file or do something to it. So I have to pick the best proof that we got, shrink it, make it sure it fits to 20 megabytes, do that twice because I want to upload as much proof as possible, and then zip the files and then add them to the appeal. So it has changed slightly, probably not, nobody else cares at all. But if you're doing a suspension appeal, it has gone from 3 attachments at 30 megabytes each to 2 attachments at 20 megabytes each. And the way you attach more than one document is you zip a file. So I can put a bunch of documents, zip it, and then add that as one attachment. Again, as long as it's under that 20 megabyte limit. I don't know if they're doing that because I feel like they did it because of me specifically, because I overkill so much with suspended. Like we take pictures of like there's no way possible any human, and there is a human appeal review is done by a human. There's no way any human could look at all this proof and documentation that I uploaded and say that this business doesn't exist, isn't true, all the things. And maybe they got tired of people uploading too much stuff. So what they really want is the utility bill and a business document and a business license, like the real estate license for a real estate agent and that kind of stuff. And we do other things that help compound and help reiterate and prove it. But I think those are the very important ones. So possibly they're trying to give us less space, so we just give them what they really want. Um, and not a bunch of other stuff that they really don't care to look through or whatever. So a little bit of a change with suspensions, but we've had success recently getting them done, and the procedure changed a little bit. And then where we're at 10:08, so all ended out, pretty much done anyway. Last thing I have here is I read an article recently that Google is preparing for a whole new world of search. It's no news to anybody that ChatGPT and Bing and all these other platforms are entering search a little bit more. I've heard recently that Apple has no interest in getting into the search game. For a while there, they were starting. They're always kind of maybe do it. They always use Google as the default on their phones. So far, they can't do it anymore. But always this thing of like, should we create our own search? And what I heard recently was they have no interest in doing it because of what I'm talking about right now. The whole search game is going to change. They don't want to get into the game and build their own Google, the old way of doing search, when there's a whole new way of doing search, kind of like ChatGPT. Um, and this has impacts for Google because Google makes all their money, like 70, 65%, a huge portion of their income and profits come from search ads. Their income comes from ads, and most of those ads are in search or search related on Google Maps or on desktop or wherever. There are search ads or display ads on websites and that kind of thing, but they make their money on search ads for the most part. So, with this change where, and even Google is a part of it, they're not, it's not just ChatGPT. Google is doing this to themselves as well, and they have to. um, they do the Googling for you. That's Google's model. We do the Googling for you. So now if you ask an informational query on Google, it gives you websites and things, but at the top usually is an AI overview that gives you the answer right there. It's the same as kind of if you ask ChatGPT, it would go get the information, it would compile it, and it would serve you up the answer. And it gives you bullet points. And like when I typed in new TCPA rules 2025, it gives me a whole thing. The federal blah, 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 purpose, the rule is to aim to close lead, blah, 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 how it works, recommendations. This is all stuff that the AI did, and I don't have to click on any ads for any articles that want me to read their article. I don't have to click on the Wall Street Journal. I don't have to click on anything. It's giving me the answer right here. It does provide links that you can click on where it got the information from, and it gives you sources, and you can keep scrolling down to get to websites and things. But who is? No, but most people aren't. So search is going to change completely, and not overnight. This is going to take time. It's not like tomorrow people are just going to stop using Google search at all. They still have a huge 90% market share or whatever for search, and 60+% market share for browsers with their Chrome browser. That's why their things will change this year, probably with all that. But it will change for sure. So we all want to. The reason why it matters to us with search changing and people, their search patterns and how they search for things changing is when these AI agents, they call them, these are like the assistant that you think we all think of, like the epitome of the assistant. Maybe even a robot that walks around your house that it lives in, and then when you go on the go, the assistant is in your watch or whatever. But this is a full assistant. It's not an app that you log into. It's like I buy from Google. They have an AI agent. It's not out yet. I forget what it's called. But it will be have access. It will be on all my devices. It will have access to all my stuff. It will do Googling for me. It will do Chat GPTing for me. It will do if access to my entire life and everything, and it will do everything for me. If I want to buy something, I talk to it. I don't choose between Alexa and Google or whatever. I just whatever AI agent I'm using and subscribe to is what I'm going to talk to and do everything with. So that's the real race for all these companies, is to come up with that AI agent to get people to adopt, and there will be paid versions probably. And then once you're in one of these for a while, it knows your life, it also learns not just from access to your stuff, but from interacting with you, and learns how you are, just like ChatGPT does. You're never going to switch. So once you have somebody paying 29.99 a month for one of these AI agents, after a couple years, the chances of you switching to a different AI agent are slim to none, probably, unless there's some regulation that it has to be transferable or something. So that's the big race to that. And so along the way, regular traditional search will change and go down as things move towards the AI. Like I said, that's going to take years and years. It's not like it's happening tomorrow, but even Google is putting out articles and talking about it, that search is going to change. And for Google, they need to come up with another way to monetize. YouTube is the next biggest source of their revenue, but still not even anywhere close to search ads, and the YouTube would be ads also anyway. The reason why all this matters to us is once AI, and even if you go to ChatGPT and ask it like who's the best realtor, but once you have this AI agent and you say somebody needs to sell their house, and they say, hey Betsy, that's the AI's name, hey Betsy, who's the best realtor in the area? Where do you think that AI is going to go to figure out who is the best realtor? They're going to go to Google. They'll probably go to all of them, to Google, to Bing, to Zillow, to like all the places all at once. Go to all these places, and from all the information it gathers, it's going to tell you who the best is. Meaning, we can't just be on Google and hope just Google is going to get us all the search traffic and calls 10 years from now or whatever. You can't hope that the Facebook business page is, but you need to have all these things. So when those AIs go to scan the internet and they're like, based on all these online platforms and all the reviews for all the agents and all the things and the content that they put out and reading the captions and all the things, this is the best agent. So it matters to us because we need to, again, going kind of back to the branded search, is all those places where we show up, we should first show up in all the proper places that we should have profiles and things, and then they should all look like the bomb and they should all get some kind of attention to them. Doesn't mean you have to be posting to your Facebook business page 20 times a day and doing content and treating it like a YouTube channel or something, but it should exist. It should have some reviews in good standing there. It should be up to date and match all your other stuff, phone number, location, name, all the things matching perfectly. So in this transition to AI search, I think it becomes even more important to be in all the places and have a good standing in all the places, which is true now already, but I think will be even more important. And if, again, if you've heard me say it before, but if people ask ChatGPT the best realtor, ChatGPT typically uses Bing. You can have a Bing Place profile. Just go search Bing Places profile, create one. You can sync it with your Google Business profile. So now you can be on there. The Bing Places profile pulls reviews from a Facebook business page. I haven't seen anything otherwise. If somebody sees it in the wild, let me know. But so far, what I've seen is on a Bing Places profile, the reviews it will show come from a Facebook business page. So as far as OpenAI and ChatGPT and anything using ChatGPT as their AI or their API, their computers to be their AI on the back end, they're going to be looking at Bing, and those reviews are going to come from Facebook business page. So all these things kind of tie together, and we need to be looking at them and making sure we are awesome. So 16 after, I got through everything, had some good questions and answers. That was awesome. Good to be back. Does anybody have any questions on anything we talked about, any additives, or I got a little bit more time if you have any issues or anything, or we can just go ahead.
Hey Derek, Happy New Year. It's 16 degrees in Indiana. I want to say thank you to you for the room. It's been really good. I can't always be on the room, so I was happy to be here today. My question is really, it's a one off question, but maybe everybody else wants to know too. It's time for me to sign on with you to have your services. And do you, when somebody just gives you the reins, which was what I plan to do you take care of the being and all the things for us?
Short answer is, well, first let me say 16 degrees, you win the award. I think that's the lowest we heard today. So 16 degrees wins it. Feels like 10. So you win that. And then also, I love the headshot. Most people, you'll hear me say it. And actually, a lot of people in this room have pretty decent headshots, but headshots need to be close up. Everybody does them way too far away. And it's like, that's just a silhouette of a lady. I don't know if I want to work with that lady or not. People need to see the features of your face, and whether they like it or dislike it, whoever they resonate with, they need to see, it needs to be closer up. And profile pictures are so tiny. So love the headshot, and you win the 16 degrees. Um, as far as if Bing Places and Apple Business Connect are included, they have not been in the past, but since they are becoming more of a thing, my monthly clients, I am making sure they're on there, and I'm going in there not as often as the Google Business Profile, but making every month or so, just making sure it's active and working and whatnot. With the Done For You package for Google Business Profile and local services ads in 2025, I am adding Apple Business Connect and Bing Places to that. The price will probably go up, but I haven't done it yet. So if you want to jump on at current prices, feel free to do it. Not really a pitch, but I will. That's probably going to be a whole nother hour call that I'll have to do because there are some verification, there are some things that we kind of have to do a Zoom call to accomplish, and then some work before and after that on my part. So I would love to include it, but I will probably have to raise the price. But I haven't figured that out yet. So anybody that
And Janet, I
um,
can attest, I have used Derek and wouldn't use anybody else. He's awesome. So, and there's many of us that have used him. So just know that he does a great job. He is the Google man, and you won't be sorry.
I'm kind of like, I think it's a country song, Jesus Take the Wheel, but I'm going to impose Derek, take the wheel. I don't want to do this stuff, but I know that it's important because I listen to you. So when you're ready, I'm ready. We need to sign this thing up. Thank you. And hi, everybody.
awesome. Thanks, everybody. And actually, I've been making an effort. That's one of my goals in 2025 is also to expand a little bit beyond real estate agent profiles, just because, I mean, obviously there's a whole world of small businesses out there. I like my core and I'm not leaving it, and I still like that's my niche, and I want to be the person. Nobody else on the planet knows Google business profiles for real estate agents better than me. That's my goal. But I have started like I need to expand just for revenue's sake and things like that. And because some other businesses I can charge a lot more, like big HVAC companies, I can charge them a lot more than I can charge a real estate agent. So a lot of it has to do with profitability. But I've got a coffee shop near me that I'm doing, and today a men's spa. So that's kind of exciting. I kind of like doing these other businesses because then I learn about the businesses and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to the men's spa. Maybe I can get a free massage out of that piece. I don't wouldn't use any other. I cut my own hair and am not a spa person other than I'd be all about a massage anytime. If I was rich, that'd be the first thing I got would be a full-time masseuse. I'm assuming every rich person has one, but my my driver would be trained masseuse. My chef would be a trained masseuse. It would just be massage. Like, what is better than nothing? I don't think anything. Even the other thing is better than a massage because it's all about you. So anyhow, all right. Anybody else have anything else before I close it out?
Morning, Derek. It's Isela here in Phoenix. I'm hiking in 53 degrees, and it's cold for us over here. Question for you. So you were helping me with my account, and you did amazing. And I'm going to go back to you, but I have a question. So I have a small team, and one of my team members' account is suspended, and we've tried a few times. Do you offer the service of just like unsuspending her account or helping her do that? Or what's the process with that so that we can get you to help her? I think we had emailed you once, and I want to go back to that. Do you offer that service where you just help with on suspension, or what needs to happen? How do we go about that?
I do. Yep. I'll drop it in the chat here if you just want to copy it. I forget. 395 is the cost, which is kind of the going rate that I hear everybody else say. It is a work on my part. You heard me say all the crap that I do and overkill, blah blah blah. It basically consists of usually an hour long. That's what's allotted, plus or minus an hour long Zoom session with whoever the Google Business Profile owner to go through the business profile, make sure everything's compliant, change any settings we need to change, make sure everything is provable, and then we go through all the documents, and then I provide a recap email with a list of all those documents. They provide all the documents to me. I then sort them, rename them perfectly, put them like all the things I was talking about in 20 megabyte folders and sift through what's the best things to use, yada, yada. And then I submit it for them. And then I'm kind of with them to the end, whether it's successful, and success is not guaranteed. You could do it perfectly and still, for whatever reason, which they will never tell you, it's just not working. So, uh, yeah, I would be with them to the end if that meant a, a initial appeal was denied and we did an additional review of appeal and that still was denied, that would technically kind of be the end nail in the coffin, whether it's that or whether it's we got approved, which is hopefully the outcome. I would be with them to the end and actually doing it, which is not the case with a verification. With a verification, I can't do videos for people, but with a suspension, I can do all the appealing and all that stuff. So that link's in the chat if you want it, or just hit me up and I can text it to you or whatever.
Got it. Thank
Or,
you.
yep. All right, everybody. If there's nothing else, 10:24 on Wednesday. Everybody needs to go get reviews. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get off this call and text or email at least one person and ask for a review. Or you can post on social media if you haven't posted on social media lately. Hey, if you guys like me, click this link and hook me up with a review. I always get at least one or two. The highest I ever got from one post was like 8, I think. I've heard people, I think Kristen Rapoli got like 11. There was one time when we all kind of did it and there was a winner, and I feel like it was her with a number similar to 11 or something like that. And I got it's like 7 or 8, like I said. So sometimes it's only one, sometimes a couple, but it's all, I don't think I've ever done it and got nothing. And you can't do it every day, once a quarter or something, but feel free to do that too. Drop it on your Facebook with a link, say, if you like me, hook me up with a review or something better than that. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here, and replay will be here till next week, and we will see everybody next week. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Derek.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Bye.
Derek.
Derek.